Welcome to the Living Wisdom YouTube channel. Today we're going to speak about enlivening your intuition. Intuition is a very important faculty. It's a faculty of knowingness, which comes from a very profound level of our inner being. And today we really want to understand how we can enliven our intuition. So if you've often had questions about your intuition and how to expand your ability to listen to your intuition, you've come to the right place. This is what we're going to be speaking about today. This is the subject of our topic today, enlivening your intuition. There's a beautiful quotation from Dr. Wayne Dwyer, and it says, if prayer is you talking to God, then intuition is God talking to you. So intuition comes from a very, very deep level of our awareness. And in order to understand the fountainhead of intuition, we want to look at the different layers of the mind. The mind is constructed in layers. There's a surface layer of the mind, and there are deeper and deeper, quieter and quieter levels of the mind. And the deepest level of the mind is the level of pure consciousness, the source of thought. This is the fountainhead of creativity, intelligence, and energy deep within the mind. This is the level of the Atman, or the level of pure consciousness. So the way that we can really enliven our intuition is to become more and more accustomed to dwelling on those quieter, more expanded, more powerful layers of the mind at the deeper and deeper level of our own awareness. During the practice of the Transcendental Meditation technique, we actually experience the dive from the surface level of the mind to those quieter and quieter levels of the thinking process until we transcend thought altogether and experience the state of unbounded awareness, awareness free from all limitations, free from all restrictions. And the way that we do this, the technique is so simple, easy, and effortless. It's just that we make use of the natural tendency of the mind to move in the direction of more and more happiness, more creativity, more intelligence, more energy. And because everyone's mind wants to move toward unboundedness, toward more and more and more fulfillment, that the dive toward those deeper and deeper levels, those quieter and quieter and more powerful and creative levels of the mind, is totally effortless. There's absolutely no effort involved in the process of transcendental meditation. And transcendental meditation is the way that we can definitely enliven our intuitive abilities. We can enliven our intuition. So what happens is when we meditate, we use a mantra, and the mantra actually turns the attention inward, because normally the attention is always directed outward through the five senses. What will we eat? What will we see? What will we smell? What will we taste? What will we touch? Everything is directed habitually in the outward direction through the five senses. So we need a vehicle which allows the attention to turn inward. And the vehicle we use is the mantra. And this comes from the very ancient Vedic tradition from which transcendental meditation comes. And the mantra turns the attention in the inward direction, and then we spontaneously dive to those quieter and quieter and more expanded levels of awareness until we experience that state of least excitation of consciousness, the simplest state of human awareness. And this is the state of pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is a field of infinite creativity. It's a field from which all the diverse thoughts, ideas, plans, everything emerges from that unified wholeness of life at the deepest level of consciousness. Pure consciousness is that unified field, that level, which is the most fundamental level of the human mind. And the most fundamental level of the universe is one unified field, one wholeness. And even in physics today, they're speaking about this, the unified field, the level of intelligence, which is the source of all expressions of intelligence in the entire universe. The whole universe is emerging from an unbounded field of intelligence, which is continually interacting with itself in an infinitely dynamic way. So the human mind is a mirror reflection of the cosmic mind, and that level of the human mind, the deepest level, is a field of infinite creativity, intelligence, energy, and organizing power. And it's a field of perfect orderliness. So this level of silence at the most fundamental level of the thinking process, this level of silence is the fountainhead of our intuitive powers. Our intuitive powers come from this very silent field of knowingness, where we spontaneously have a feeling or a knowing or just a hunch. We feel, oh, this is right. Oh, this is right. Oh, I should go in this direction. This comes from that level of knowingness, which is the level which is very, very deep and very silent. And it's beyond the level of articulated speech, because it's very quiet, silent level. And many thinkers have said that the highest virtue is to understand things by intuition. And all human knowledge begins with intuition, and then it's translated into concepts and ideas. And it's like there's a saying by Hazrat Inayat Khan. He said, "My intuition never fails me. It is I who fail when I do not listen to it." So it's like, if you don't listen to your intuition, then you may be missing an important direction in life. It may be that there's some intuition that's coming from a very fundamental level, and if you ignore it, you may not have that value of that wisdom, which is actually emerging from one's own higher self, or from, you could say, from the deepest level of one's own soul. So many people say that intuition, Krishnamurti actually said, intuition is the whisper of the soul. And it's like we develop our intuition by trusting our inner guidance. When we trust our intuition, it helps it to grow more and more. And it helps us to begin to sense things at a deeper level. And it helps us so that we can be supported and enriched by the inner wisdom that's bubbling forth from that silent level of our awareness. So the way to enliven our intuition is to listen to it, listen to that very fine level of intelligence. That level of intuition is very close to the finest level of feeling. It's like the junction point between complete silence and the finest level of feeling. It's usually a feeling, a very faint feeling, and that's very close to the level of pure consciousness. And it's like the junction point between pure consciousness and that finest, subtlest level of feeling. And this is where the intuition comes into play. And there are some thinkers who have said, like they've said, for instance, this is by Alexis Carrel. He said, intuition comes very close to clairvoyance. It appears to be the extrasensory perception of reality. And even great scientists have said, it is through science that we prove but through intuition that we discover. So intuition is the power to discover something. It's not discovered through logic. There's actually, Einstein said there's a leap in consciousness when a discovery is made. And he said that you can call it intuition or whatever, and the solution comes to you and you don't know how or why. And these were Einstein's words. He said the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. So the intuition is our sacred gift. It's our gift of knowingness, which lies deep within a very quiet level of our consciousness. And by meditating, we become more and more familiar with those quieter, deeper, more unbounded levels of the mind. And as the mind gets accustomed and habituated to functioning from those silent, unbounded, expanded, unrestricted levels of awareness, the intuition becomes more and more pronounced in one's life, and one gains the ability to listen to one's inner voice and to follow the direction of one's higher self. So the way to enliven intuition is to become habituated to functioning from the silent, more silent levels of the thinking process, so that we're not always on that surface level of the mind. And psychologists have said that most people only use the 5 or 10% of their full creative potential, and that means they're only using the surface level of the mind. But when we practice meditation and when we practice transcendental meditation, we become more and more accustomed to thinking from the deeper, quieter, more silent levels of the thinking process. And this is where intuition comes into play. And this is how we strengthen our intuitive ability. And this is how we become accustomed to listening to the voice of our higher self and listening to the guidance of our inner being and being prompted by the knowledge, the fountainhead of knowledge that we possess deep within our awareness. So this is really what I wanted to share with you today, that how we enliven our intuition is by beginning to function from the quieter, more expanded levels of awareness and beginning to become at home with the fountainhead of knowledge deep within ourselves. And as we become more at home with that level of knowledge, our intuition becomes stronger and stronger, spontaneously, automatically, and we become we become more and more able to access that wisdom, that higher wisdom that is contained within us. So it's our sacred gift, in Einstein's words, and we should be able to utilize that sacred gift. And it's just a matter of becoming more and more accustomed to functioning from the level of pure awareness, from the level of pure consciousness, from that simplest state of human awareness. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. And if you like this video, please click the subscribe button, and we shall be going more and more into depth in our future meetings, and enlivening all the deeper levels of awareness, so that we gain full self-awareness in the coming months. So it's been a great pleasure to speak to you. I look forward to speaking to you again very, very soon.